Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah, welcome back.
For this deep dive, we're really looking at some fascinating material that you brought to us.
Yeah.
And it's all about navigating those big changes, those shifts in life,
Mm-hmm.
and really the goal is to uncover a sense of purpose
Yeah.
as you move through those times.
Right.
And we've been looking at this framework, and it's really promising.
Yeah.
It offers a real pathway to potentially discovering your most fulfilling years,
Uh-huh.
especially during those times of change.
Yeah, and you know what struck me right away
Yeah.
is that it's incredibly practical.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just some, theoretical idea.
Mm.
It's grounded in the real experiences of the authors themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, they've gone through it all, moving to different countries,
Wow.
changing careers, starting new ventures both in business and ministry,
Oh, wow.
raising families. I mean, it's the whole spectrum
Yeah.
of life transitions. And that's what makes it so relatable,
Yeah, for sure.
for our listeners, because everybody goes through these kinds of changes.
Exactly. And you can just feel that lived experience shining through.
Yeah.
I mean, it acknowledges that change can feel unsettling,
Mm-hmm.
but it also says, hey, there's this huge potential for rediscovering meaning
Absolutely.
in your life in those moments.
Yeah.
And really, I think our goal today
Yeah.
is to kind of pull out the practical steps that anyone listening can take,
Right.
like starting today,
Uh-huh.
to kind of kick off this process of reflection
Yeah.
and to tap into that renewed purpose.
So where do we begin?
Well, I think the first action that the paper talks about is reflection.
Okay.
And they actually call it a walk down memory lane.
I like that.
Yeah. And it's not just, sitting around reminiscing.
Right.
It's about really intentionally setting aside quiet time
Uh-huh.
to connect with God and to consciously remember the big moments that have shaped you.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I love is the paper talks about this as a personal conversation with God.
Mm-hmm.
And they even offer this gentle starting point, a
Yeah.
prayer that you can use to kind of begin that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Something like, Father, you've been with me every day of my life.
Yeah.
And it's just this invitation to remember the whole tapestry of your experiences, the joys, the struggles, the successes, the times you maybe stumbled,
Mm-hmm.
and all the relationships that have influenced who you are today.
So it's like painting a picture of your life with God at the center.
Yeah, exactly. And so as you think about this first step,
Uh-huh.
it's really about creating that space
Yeah.
for this conversation.
I love it.
Yeah, and the paper suggests this really practical action.
Okay.
They call it a memory dump.
A memory dump.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, imagine you have this mental attic,
Mm-hmm.
and it's full of stuff,
Right.
and you're just taking it all out and putting it on paper.
Okay.
It's like decluttering your mind,
I like that.
and you're writing down everything that comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Events, tasks, roles, responsibilities, relationships.
Every.
Just get it all out.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Don't judge it. Just get it all down.
Okay. So no censoring.
Exactly. Yeah, just let it flow.
Got it.
And a really important part of this
Uh-huh.
is trusting that God is guiding you through the whole process.
Absolutely.
And the paper even reminds us of that verse from Jeremiah 33.3
Mm-hmm.
that says, "Call to me and I will answer you."
Powerful.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is.
It's just this reminder that you're not alone in this.
Mm-hmm.
God's right there with you as you sift through these memories.
That's such a comforting thought.
Yeah. And it's worth noting that this isn't a quick 5-minute task.
Right.
This could take hours, days, weeks,
Mhm.
and you might revisit it as you go through this process.
It's a journey, not a sprint.
Exactly. Yeah.
So once we've got this memory dump,
Yeah.
what's next?
Well, then the paper says it's time to identify joy.
Okay.
And this is where you really look at what you've written down
Uh-huh.
and you focus on the moments that brought you genuine delight
Mm-hmm.
and a sense of fulfillment.
It's about really tuning into those positive emotions.
Exactly. Yeah. And the paper gives this simple but powerful way to do this.
Okay.
You go back through your memory dump
Mm-hmm.
and you mark each memory.
Okay.
Use a 1 for those moments of clear joy,
Yeah.
delight or fulfillment.
Got it.
The ones that really resonated with you, the ones
Mhm.
that made your heart sing.
Okay. Those get a 1.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
And then you use a 3 for the painful or uncomfortable memories.
Okay, so the ones that maybe you'd rather not revisit.
Yeah, exactly. And then a 2 for the more neutral experiences.
Okay, so we've got our 1, our 3, and our 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then the immediate outcome of this step is to gather all those memories that you marked with a 1.
Oh, I see.
So you're creating this collection of experiences that have been the most meaningful for you.
The ones that brought the most joy.
Exactly. Yeah. And what's really fascinating is that this focus on joy, it becomes a compass. It points you towards future fulfillment.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we're looking back to move forward.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And that leads us to the third action,
Right.
which is to understand your joy. And this is about really digging deeper into why those joyful moments were so significant,
Okay.
why those moments mattered.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah. And again, the paper suggests starting with a prayer, something like, Father, you know my thoughts and motives. Please reveal to me why these moments brought joy.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's really seeking a deeper understanding of what motivates you.
That's powerful.
Yeah. And the paper then outlines these specific areas to reflect on. The first one is roles played.
Okay.
And this isn't just about your job titles or formal positions, but about the essence of what you contributed and the impact you had.
Okay.
So, for example, were you a teacher in a formal sense?
Okay.
Or were you more of a mentor or a guide?
Oh, I see.
Or someone who encouraged others?
So it's looking beyond the label.
Exactly. Yeah. What roles did you find truly fulfilling?
Regardless of the title.
Yeah, exactly. And then there are the relationships of impact. And the paper talks about how vital our connections with others are.
Yeah, for sure.
To our sense of fulfillment. And so who were you with during those joyful moments? Who offered you support?
Right.
Understanding these relational dynamics, it can be so insightful.
Absolutely.
Because it can reveal what truly matters to you.
Yeah, I'm thinking about my own experiences of joy now.
Yeah.
And who was there with me in those moments.
Exactly. Yeah.
And how they were a part of that.
Yeah. And then the third area is issues and challenges that sparked your imagination.
Okay.
And this is really interesting because it suggests that the things that capture our attention and really ignite our passion, the challenges we feel compelled to address, can actually reveal our underlying passions.
Oh, wow.
And potential avenues for meaningful contribution.
That is fascinating.
And, these are often the places where you might have felt God's presence most strongly.
Right.
So it's not just what brought you joy, but why.
Okay, so understanding those deep motivators
Yeah.
is key to creating more fulfilling experiences in the future.
Exactly. Yeah.
All
and
right.
so we've gone through reflecting on the past, identifying what brings joy, understanding why it brings joy.
Right.
And now the next step takes a more practical turn.
Okay.
It's called defining your ministry capacity.
Define your ministry capacity.
Yeah. And it's all about understanding your time, your energy, and setting healthy boundaries.
So important.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
And the paper starts with this fundamental truth.
Okay.
We all have 168 hours in a week.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. No exceptions.
Nope.
And it references the parable of the 10 minas as this reminder that we're accountable to God for how we use our time.
Yeah.
It's a valuable resource.
It is.
And the directive here is really clear.
Okay.
Don't commit to new roles or responsibilities without first defining the time commitment.
Right.
The paper even uses this phrase, guardrails.
Guardrails. Yeah.
To emphasize how important it is to protect yourself from overcommitment and what they call scope creep.
Scope creep.
Which is when things just keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, you start with one small thing and then suddenly it's a whole project.
Exactly. And you're overwhelmed.
Right.
So it's about being responsible with the time you have, recognizing your limits.
And honoring those limits.
Exactly.
I like that.
And then that leads us to the final action.
Okay, the grand finale.
Developing your purpose and vision.
Developing purpose and vision.
Yeah, and it's not just about the past. It's about using those insights to move forward with intention.
Okay.
And the paper connects this to this really beautiful principle from the Catechism that says the ultimate purpose of humanity is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's the overarching aim. And then it brings in Micah 6.8 that says, to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God.
I love that verse.
Yeah, and it offers this practical guide for for how we live out that purpose
Okay.
in our daily lives.
So it's like the big picture purpose
Mm-hmm.
and then the down-to-earth how-to.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
And then the paper asks this question that I just love.
Okay.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, that's great.
It reframes this question that we usually ask children for adults, suggesting that God, like a loving parent, is invested in our growth, no matter our age.
Yeah, and our vision for the future.
Exactly. And it even references Proverbs 29.18 that says, where there is no vision, the people perish.
Oh, wow.
To emphasize the importance of having that sense of direction.
Right, that forward momentum.
Yeah, and then it brings in this really insightful quote from Dr. Henry Blackaby
Okay.
that says, if you want to experience God, look for where he is working and join him.
I love that quote.
It's so powerful.
It is.
It's all about partnering with Jesus, seeking out where God is already at work and aligning ourselves with that.
Yeah.
And then the paper encourages us to do this exercise to complete the sentence.
Yeah.
I wish I could.
I wish I could.
Yeah, and it's about tapping into your imagination and envisioning potential roles you might want to play.
Okay.
And then asking yourself, do these visions honor God?
Right.
And do they align with Micah 6.8?
So we're dreaming big, but also checking in with our values.
Exactly, yeah. And then there's this really important shift to community.
Okay.
The paper states very clearly that who you know is more important than what you know.
It's all about relationships.
It is, and it draws on Jesus's own model for building this support network.
Oh, how so?
Well, it talks about the one, his relationship with the Father.
Right.
The 72, his broader circle of connections.
Okay.
The 12, his committed disciples who offered prayer and close support. And the 3, his innermost circle of mentors and advisors.
Wow. So it's like these concentric circles of support.
Exactly. And it encourages us to consider these different levels of connection in our own lives.
So thinking about the 12.
Yeah.
These would be like your core group of people.
Yeah, your go-to people for support and prayer.
The ones you can really count on me.
Especially during times of transition.
Yeah, exactly.
And the key takeaway here is that sharing your vision isn't a sign of weakness.
Right.
It's actually an invitation for collaboration.
Oh, I see.
For shared purpose. And for the support you need to bring your dreams to life.
And to really step into that renewed sense of purpose.
Exactly. And potentially lead to what the paper calls the best years of your life.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So to kind of recap, we've walked through this incredible 5-step process, reflecting on your experiences, identifying the moments of true joy, understanding why those moments were so joyful, defining your capacity for commitment, and then developing a clear sense of purpose and vision.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember this isn't a one-time fix.
Right.
It's not a destination you arrive at.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. It's an ongoing conversation with God.
Absolutely.
And the most important step you can take is that first one, carving out the quiet time for reflection.
That's where it all begins.
Yeah, and as you start to consider those moments, that brought you real, lasting joy.
Yeah.
What might they be saying about the unique contribution that only you can make in the world?
That's a powerful question.
Yeah, it's something to really ponder.
Definitely something to sit with and explore.
Yeah.
Thank you for this conversation.
Yeah, this was great.
I always learn so much from these deep dives.
Me too. And I hope everyone listening will take something valuable away from it as well.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next deep dive.
Bye.